Welcome to this explainer. Right, let's jump straight into the ultimate playbook for slicing up your digital ad budgets for 2026. Look, if you're still using the exact same budget splits you used 3 years ago, kind of just assuming the digital landscape hasn't fundamentally shifted, well, we really need to talk. The rules of customer acquisition have been completely ripped up and rewritten. Sticking to those old habits, that's honestly the fastest way to just torch your marketing ROI.
Think about it. For well over a decade, if someone asked you who leads global digital advertising, the default answer was just a reflex, right? Google. Because search absolutely dictated online intent. You had a problem, you typed it in, and Google's infrastructure was literally the engine of customer acquisition for almost every business on Earth. But there's a massive, structural, tectonic shift happening right now, and this shift is going to completely dictate where your next ad dollar goes.
Get this. By 2026, forecasts show Meta hitting an absolutely massive $243.5 billion in ad revenue. That's a 26.8% market share, which actually edges out Google's projected $239.5 billion. I mean, imagine telling a media buyer 10 years ago that a social network would actually eclipse the world's biggest search engine in pure ad dominance. They'd laugh you out of the room. But this isn't just a fun trivia stat. It is hard, undeniable proof that the market's center of gravity has rapidly moved toward Meta, and specifically their model of discovery advertising.
So to figure out what this means for your money, here's the game plan for today. We're going to hit 1. The 2026 ad market shift. 2. Meta, the discovery engine. 3. Google, the search engine. 4. Amazon, the commerce engine. And finally, 5. Role-based budget allocation. Let's get into it.
Section 1. The 2026 ad market shift.
Okay, so for years, industry analysts kept telling us the ad market was going to fragment, right? New platforms, new challengers. Well, the exact opposite happened. A staggering 62.3% of all global digital ad spending is now heavily locked up inside a triopoly: Meta, Google, and Amazon. If you're spending money online today, the vast majority of it is flowing right through these three walled gardens. Why? Because they're compounding their unique data advantages, their machine learning, and their massive user bases at a scale literally no one else can touch.
Section 2. Meta, the discovery engine.
Now, Meta isn't just growing because they're already huge. They're actually accelerating at an insane 24.1% year over year. And the big secret here? They've almost entirely removed the friction for advertisers. You really don't need to be a highly technical, spreadsheet-obsessed media buyer to get results anymore. Their algorithm just does the heavy lifting now, matching your creative to the absolute perfect audience with ruthless efficiency.
By combining high-volume creative testing with all this massively engaging inventory, we're talking Reels, Threads, WhatsApp, Meta has fundamentally evolved. It's not just a social network anymore, it's a giant automated discovery engine. With AI tools like Advantage Plus, you can rapidly test hooks, video formats, and messaging at a massive scale. It's basically an always-on experimentation lab that actually finds your future customers before they even realize they want what you're selling.
Section 3. Google, the search engine.
This brings us to the core paradigm shift in how you need to think about your budget: demand generation versus demand capture. You use Meta, the ultimate discovery engine, to generate the demand. You spark interest, you introduce your brand. Then you use Google, the ultimate search engine, to capture that demand when those users actively go looking for a solution. It's totally symbiotic. You can't capture demand you never created, and honestly, there's 0 point spending heavily to create demand if you're just going to let a competitor capture it on search.
And look, while Google's forecasted growth rate of 11.9% is definitely slower than Meta's, which makes sense, it's a super mature product and they're navigating the whole rollout of AI-generated answers, Google is still absolutely irreplaceable. When it comes to capturing existing, high-intent buyers, dominating local search, or securing transactional queries, nobody beats them. When someone has their credit card in hand and knows exactly what they want, they aren't passively scrolling. They are actively searching.
Section 4. Amazon, the commerce engine.
$68.6 billion. That is Amazon's forecasted advertising revenue for 2025. Just let that scale sink in for a second. That's the GDP of some actual countries. Amazon has aggressively evolved from being just a place to buy things into a highly sophisticated, incredibly high-margin digital media powerhouse. If you sell physical goods online, you literally cannot ignore this.
Talk to any marketplace expert right now, and the consensus is loud and clear. Advertising on Amazon is no longer optional. It's strictly pay to play.
We're seeing top sellers routinely dropping 30 to 40% of their top-line revenue just to fund their Amazon ads. The old days of throwing up a decent product listing, tweaking a few keywords, and watching organic sales roll in, yeah, those days are officially gone.
On top of that, the way people search on Amazon is shifting in real time. Their AI shopping assistant, Rufus, is already handling over 270 million daily queries and generating a wild $12 billion in incremental sales. And here is the kicker for your budget. Users who interact with Rufus are 60% more likely to actually buy. Bottom line, your strategy now has to be fully optimized for natural language, conversational AI questions, not just old-school keyword stuffing.
Analysts are calling this whole situation the Great Compression. Get this. The top 1.6% of sellers are now driving a full 50% of the total gross merchandise value on Amazon. That is a crazy concentration of power. If you aren't ruthlessly optimizing your ad spend and running a super tight supply chain in the background, you are going to get squeezed out by these mega sellers who can easily afford the rising ad costs and fee hikes.
Section 5. Role-based budget allocation.
Okay, so here's the absolute most important strategic takeaway from this whole explainer. You have got to stop habit-based budgeting. Just because you handed Google 60% of your budget last year doesn't mean they automatically deserve that same exact slice this year. You need to consciously shift to a disciplined, role-based allocation model. That means assigning your dollars strictly based on how a platform fits into the modern customer journey and the actual marginal return it drives for your specific business. To actually pull this off, you need to audit your strategy with 5 tough questions. 1. Where do your high-value customers actually discover you in the first place? 2. Where is the absolute strongest buying intent happening? 3. Which of these platforms scales efficiently without crushing your margins? 4. Is your creative team producing enough variations to feed Meta's extremely hungry AI? And 5. Is your measurement actually accurate enough to track a user from a passive Meta video to an active Google search and finally to an Amazon purchase?
All right, let's bring it all together. Here is your definitive execution playbook. Treat Meta strictly as your discovery engine. It's your scalable lab for prospecting and finding brand new audiences. Then, fiercely protect your Google budget to capture that solution-aware, high-intent transactional search. And finally, if it makes sense for your business, fund Amazon heavily to lock down those bottom-of-funnel conversions right at the point of sale. Whatever you do, don't mix up their roles. And definitely do not judge your Meta discovery ads using the exact same direct response metrics you'd use for Google search. It just doesn't work.
So I want to leave you with this one final thought. Pull up your spreadsheets today. Seriously, audit your entire ad strategy. Is your marketing budget genuinely built to thrive in the complex realities of the 2026 digital landscape? Or are you still just blindly paying for the habits of yesterday?